Goldeneye was released in 1995, directed by Martin Campbell, and it sees Pierce Brosnan in his first and easily his best outing as James Bond 007. This film also stars Isabella Scoperio, Famke, Jensen and Dame Judi Dench. Warnings before I go any further, guys, this review will contain some spoilers. In this film, we see Bond go after a rogue 00 agent, Alec Trevelyan, played by Sean Bean, who has formed a crime syndicate and taken control of a space-based weapons program called Goldeneye. We destroy anything with an electromagnetic circuit, and he plans to use this to detonate it over London to cause a financial meltdown. As always, guys, thanks for supporting the channel. Keep on supporting it. Hit that subscribe button so you can follow this channel. Hit that alarm bell as well so you can get notifications from me when my videos are going to be uploaded, and also help give this video a like as well. Goldeneye was the second Bond film that I saw in the cinema as a child. The first one was Living Daylights, and I liked what Timothy Dalton had brought to the role of James Bond. After Roger Moore's tenure, Timothy Dalton played it more serious, and Goldeneye was actually meant to be the third film that Timothy Dalton was meant to star in. The dark tone that Timothy Dalton had brought to the role of Licence to Kill and his role as James Bond was what the writers had adapted when they were writing Goldeneye. But there were so many legal issues and such a delay from the time that they'd written it to the time that they planned to film it that Timothy Dalton said, you know what, I'm too old to play Bond, I have to step down. Enter Pierce Brosnan. And I believe that his role as Remington Steele in the 1980s TV show helped with his performance as Bond. He brought some of the elements that were missing from Timothy Dalton's portrayal. So Pierce Brosnan brings the ice-cold, ruthless killer that Sean Connery was in his tenure as Bond.
You'll understand if I don't call.
I won't lose sleep over it.
Sweet dreams.
But he also brings the light-hearted one-liners that Roger Moore brought to his portrayal of Bond.
She always did enjoy a good squeeze.
Pierce Brosnan was a great action star. This was the first action vehicle that he actually got to showcase his abilities. Alec Trevelyan is played by Sean Bean, and Sean Bean is a great villainous actor. He's a great actor. I loved what he brought to the role of Patriot Games, and he was a formidable match for Bond. He was a 00, he knows his training, he knows his protocols, he knows every gadget that he's been given. So when Bond plants a bomb in Alec's space and they capture Bond, he asks to see his watch, because he knows that his watch can act as a trigger. And when he sees that he's got a different model to the one that he has, he pushes a button to switch off the bomb. And Sean Bean's portrayal of Alec Trevelyan, he was almost the absolute antithesis of Bond. Whilst he was a villain, he was very, very charismatic in the role. And we've seen that done so many times. Christopher Lee's Scaramanga, even though he was a villain, he was a very, very charismatic villain. And he was the opposite to Roger Moore's Bond. Frank Sanchez in Licence to Kill, drug dealer, villain, but was very, very charismatic to it. And he was the antithesis to Timothy Dalton's Bond. And what made the role even more intense was the fact that this was more personal than professional. Bond feels he's been betrayed by Alec after he's gone rogue, and this just adds a really, really great psychological layer and emotional layer to the narrative of Bond. The Bond ladies in this film are some of the strongest that I've ever seen. They have dispensed with the helpless, oh James, come and save me roles that we saw in previous Bond films. These ladies are strong, these ladies are intense, and these ladies are more than a match for Bond. And because this was the 90s, you had to give us something that was relevant and up to date. All these ladies feel like they're a nod to the late great Honor Blackman's character, Pussy Galore. Someone who is strong, someone who's intense, and someone who will take no BS. Isabella Scoperio as Natalia, the computer programmer, one of the strongest Bond girls we've ever seen. Great with computers. When Alec tries to kiss her, she pushes him away and slaps him. When Boris, a computer programmer who has gone rogue and is in with Alec Trevelyan's character, when Natalia sees him, she beats the living daylights out of him. And this was a lady that needed no saving. This was a lady that could do for herself. Famke Jensen as Onatop. Again, the name is a nod to the silly names that the Bond films used to have in the past, but she was an excellent henchman. All I can just say is wow. The way that she killed people, she was great at hand-to-hand combat, she was great with guns, she was easily one of the best villains or sidekick to a villain that we have seen in a very, very long time. My favourite character in the Bond films, what brought it back to life, was Dame Judi Dench as M. She ignited the screen from the first scene she was in. At that time, the head of MI5 was a woman. So it was really, really apt. And we saw a different style of M. Not just someone who would say, okay, this is your mission, go after it. But as she was a female, there were certain people who tried to say stuff about her, and she said, you know what, I'm not going to take no BS from nobody.
You were saying?
No, I was just.
Good. Because if I want sarcasm, Mr. Tanner, I'll talk to my children. Thank you very much.
One of the best characters in the film. Great casting, and it is Dame Judi Dench. Say no more. What was interesting for me when I was watching this, and again when I saw it the first time as a kid, was Joe Don Baker played Jack Wade, CIA, who would be Bond's ally after Felix Leiter was named in License to Kill. And Joe Don Baker actually starred in 1987's Living Daylights. But he is not the first Bond actor to star in different Bond films but with different roles. Maud Adams will play Miss Sanders, Scaramanga's girlfriend, in The Man with the Golden Gun, but then she will play the title role of Octopussy with Roger Moore. Charles Gray, who played Henderson in You Only Live Twice, would then play Blofeld in 1971's Diamonds Are Forever. Walter Gotell, who played the villain in From Russia with Love, would also play General Gogol in several Bond films in the future. So he is not the only person to have done that. Would they get away with it now? I doubt it. But it was really, really good, and Joe Don Baker is a great character actor. The great thing about Goldeneye is the fact that it is not just a great Bond film. It is a great film. It is a great thriller, a great action film. Filled with suspense, filled with humour, great locations, and great performances. Goldeneye has some of the best action sequences and stunts ever put to film. The opening sequence with the bungee jump is a world record, and it just is jaw-dropping. And you could see that from then on, they got you from the get-go and they're not going to let you go until the very end. And Simon Crane has orchestrated some brilliant action sequences. And what's so funny is that the person that performed that stunt, Wayne Michaels and Simon Crane, actually have cameo appearances. They play the pilots that On a Top shoot. This Bond film is one of the more faster Bond films. It's more visceral. It has some really, really great action sequences. The library shootout, a great car chase. There's some really, really great moments of tension. The tank chase is one of the best sequences ever put to a Bond film. And you can see that Pierce Brosnan brings out some of the tropes that made Bond so likeable. When Pierce Brosnan stops the tank and the police cars crash into the back of the tank, Bond fixes his tie. That is so much of a nod to Bond and the Bond films of the past. And we would see that in Daniel Craig's tenure. Daniel Craig gave us a really, really hardcore Bond, but he would bring back some of the old school elements in 2012 Skyfall, when he jumps from a crane into a train and fixes his cufflink. Goldeneye is very funny. It's got some great comedic moments, some great one-liners, but more importantly, some great dialogue, and it is filled with suspense. And those elements, which made this such a great Bond film, were missing in the future Bond films that Pierce Brosnan would star in. Whilst Goldeneye is the first Bond film not to be based upon an Ian Fleming story, there are nods to previous Bond films. So the car chase, in which you see Bond in an Aston Martin chasing up on a top in a Ferrari, just how that was filmed felt so much like the 1964 car chase in which Sean Connery is chasing a Ford Mustang of Goldfinger. There is a brilliant fight sequence in the finale of the film between Trevelyan and Bond. No music, they are just in this claustrophobic space and they are beating the living daylights out of one another. And the intensity of that was a nod to From Russia with Love. Same circumstances, two people that were just formidable, could easily match one another, no music and just hardcore action. What would a Bond film be without a great score? The Tina Turner song Goldeneye, best song from a Bond film. Goldeneye is up there with Diamonds Are Forever, License to Kill. Eric Serra, who composed the score, he did Leon, and he seemed like an odd choice at the time. His music felt out of place in one scene, and that was when they did the car chase between Bond and On a Top. But for the scenes where there was intensity, where there's drama, where there's tension, where Bond comes face to face with Trevelyan, where Bond has some shootouts, the music worked wonders. I loved his score, and I would have loved to have seen, if he were to do another Bond film, what he would have brought to that. Martin Campbell reinvigorated the franchise, and he would go on again to do that with 2006 Casino Royale. He's directed 2 Bond films, Sam Mendes directed 2 Bond films, but I do believe that Martin Campbell was the better of the 2. He gave us 2 solid back-to-back Bond films. Sam Mendes gave us Skyfall, great Bond film, but Spectre was a bit lackluster. Goldeneye, one of the best crafted, one of the best acted, one of the best action films, and one of the best Bond films from the 90s onwards. Great storyline, very riveting, very, very entertaining. And the legacy of this is that 25 years on, it can still hold its own. It spawned a video game from the Nintendo 64 because this was a landmark Bond film. Thoroughly entertaining, great, and I loved every minute of it from start to finish. So I'll give this film a very, very strong 10 out of 10. So that's my review. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Keep on supporting this channel. Hit that subscribe button so you can follow this channel. Hit the alarm bell as well so you can get notifications from me when my video is going to be uploaded. Give this video a like as well because that's what's going to get the videos noticed, what's going to help the channel grow. Leave your comment with what is your favourite moment from Goldeneye, what is your favourite Bond film from Pierce Brosnan's tenure as Bond. Leave your comment in the comment section and I shall see you on the next film review. Take care.